Hello there, and welcome to Thank the Maker, a podcast about heroes, princesses, scoundrels, hokey religions, ancient weapons, and all things Star Wars. I'm Adam Russell.
Hey, this is Nick Gambarian.
And I am Mike Forrester. Gentlemen, we are here in the year of our Lord Qui-Gon Jinn 2026. How was your break? We had a couple cool little events that we hosted here over the last couple weeks to a lot of positive reception. That felt great to have Greg Grumberg on.
Yeah.
And it was good to have Ryan Keon. We did our watch along with The Force Awakens. That was really fun. Nick had some technical difficulties, wasn't able to join us, but he was in the Discord, yucking it up.
Figured it all out. It's like
Really
they
did.
changed stuff and didn't tell anyone. Like when it comes to Streamer X and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's cool. You know what? You guys didn't tell me. Why did you guys tell me?
We fear change.
That was the old us. This is the new us. New year, new us. Nick, as you rewatched it, how long had it been since you had watched it?
Well, I did watch it before we did the Greg episode.
That's
So
true.
it had only been a week, but before that, it'd been years for sure.
So what were your thoughts on rewatching it and then being part of the conversation?
Honestly, all bummer existential stuff. Great movie, but I just thought like about the world in 2015. Like that's what bummed me out. Like I think about what didn't exist and what has existed for the last decade.
Sure.
That's where my brain went.
Okay.
On a brighter note, how did you feel about the watch along experience? Like, did we do a good job? Is this a thing that people should be caring about?
I had a blast. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't get to experience it the same way that you guys did, so I was just like actually lying in bed on my iPad chatting along. So hopefully next time I could just actually be here.
So you got to like watch your own band, basically, is what happened.
Pretty much, yeah, which I've done before.
Right.
You know, at one time in 2014, when Anne Boleyn was breaking up, we were on Warped Tour together, and I let Dion play bass for a song, and then I just like went in the crowd and watched Dion play bass for Bayside for a minute. I'm like, oh wow.
What song did he play?
He played Montauk.
Great song.
And then I think Joey came out and played Devotion, I want to say, but not in place of anyone. I think he just kind of played along, I think.
That would have been a great joke to eventually have all the members of Anne Boleyn slowly start replacing Bayside, and then people in the back being like, wait, God, that looks like Jack. That looks like
there's some of our best friends, and like as of then, that was like our last show together ever because they were breaking up.
Right.
So we wanted to do a little something special.
I love that. And those are great songs to fill in on. And they're definitely not broken up. They got tours and stuff happening. It's happening.
It's happening. Anne Boleyn 2.5.
Absolutely.
I would call them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
versions.
Sure.
All versions.
33 and third.
Yeah.
And I'll go see that version too. Honestly, I'm into it. So we are here talking today. TTM episode 301. We barely even got to celebrate episode 300. What does that mean? That's a long time. We're now in 6 years of Thank the Maker, right?
This month. Yeah, 6 years. We've been together so long, we just don't even celebrate our anniversaries anymore.
Right.
Forget to even give each other cards.
Right.
We're just gonna decide to DoorDash something special tonight, and we'll call that our celebration. You know, and then that's the end of my bit.
DoorDash some blue milk, have a nice candlelit dinner. I like that. We are. I think what we're looking at is going, what was 2025 for Star Wars? Because I think that is like the biggest thing for us, of course, is that we were able to be in Japan together for Star Wars Celebration. And there was so much that was announced that it was very, it feels exciting to get all this new information. But now we're actually getting those projects starting to trickle in here, starting with Mando Grogu, Maul. We're starting to get a lot of this. Like this, it's actually the year we're starting to see, like even today, there was a new promo clip of Mando, which I would like to know who picks the promo clips, the promo images to go out, because they kind of dropped this like derpy image of Mando today. And I was like, of all of all the pictures to send to Entertainment Weekly, that was the one, huh?
Yeah, we're in such a weird time with marketing, I think, in general, because I mean, it's always been this way where like the old heads are trying to figure out what the kids like and what they see and trying to copy it in ways. You watch like ads on TV and they're in like vertical video format with like crap on the sides because they want to make it feel like TikTok or whatever. It's that weird shit. If it's the picture I think you're referring to, I think I saw one that had side by side like Mando and um, from season 1 and then Mando now.
Yeah.
And he's kind of standing weird and
and Grogu's up on his
weird.
shoulder, right? And I was kind of looking
Yeah.
at it, and someone goes, "This looks like when you take an action figure out of the package and don't know what to do with its arms." And I was
Yeah.
like,
Where can I see this? Where was it posted?
I saw it on the gram.
Yeah, I think it's Entertainment Weekly or any of our. A lot of the accounts that I follow are starving for news right now, and so of course, I think we should address really quickly the same. Here we go. The old rumor mill is back. Dave Filoni replacing Kathleen Kennedy, even though she already said, I'm retiring. I'm going to be by next year. She'll be 73 years old. I'm actually, frankly, jealous she gets to retire. As someone who's I would love to have as successful as a career as Kathleen Kennedy has had on that many level of massive projects.
I'll take a 10th of it.
100%. And so, I think what had happened is like this scooper that seems to also have a bone to pick with Lucasfilm for whatever reason, of course, puts information out there behind a paywall, wink, wink. And then as everyone does, they interpret whatever salacious clickbait headline they can say. And then now it becomes Dave Filoni is the president of Lucasfilm, which we have said many times in this podcast. If you want to kill someone's creative spirit, make them do Q4 merchandising, SOPs. So yeah, I don't know. I think for us looking at, we're going to run through this list of 2025 real quick, and then also talk a little bit about what's upcoming.
Yeah. Final thoughts on the Filoni thing for me. It's kind of like, okay, prove it. Like when it's real, we'll talk about it. Until then, we're going to fake talk about it like we are right now, because who fucking cares until it's real?
Yeah.
Right. I think for some people, Nick, we talked about this in the pre-show, but I definitely want to get your opinion on this. Lego, of course, this is kind of a little two-parter, but like Lego unveils this new toy that has essentially programmable features. You can plug them in. They have sounds. They're motion activated. They're kind of basically taking advantage of the I don't know. I would almost say like the small bit technology that's becoming.
Is there an app involved?
I
feel
don't.
Like you would control it by, download this app, give us your info.
Probably
press this button and Bluetooth those lights.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Even the Danish are not free of enshittification. But certainly, Dave Filoni comes out. Our friend Chris Bartlett was out there as C-3PO, and the interesting part for me is that Dave Filoni. It is one of those things. We had a bunch of Rebel pilots out there because one of the pieces in the X-Wing actually makes sounds. It lights up when you move it around and fly it around. But Dave Filoni was there. And so I think from an interesting standpoint, this almost seemed like a PR move to have him start to reassociate Star Wars. You're going to start seeing this person a lot, right? And Dave Filoni has always been that person who has famously said new Star Wars stories are just like me and John playing in our sandbox. So this does track, but I think the fact that Filoni was coming out at the time where they're announcing he's going to be the new CCO, it was interesting. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
It's the first thing I thought, because I did not, Lego. What convention was it at?
CES.
CES, yeah. Like, I don't know. It seemed strange because I honestly, even if Kathleen was there, I would have been like, why are they putting someone like so high up in Lucasfilm on a Lego, a Lego announcement? But yeah, it was interesting. I don't know. I really don't have too many like deep thoughts about it because that news of him taking over or whatever did kind of coincide with that. So it was interesting timing. So if you want to read into it, yeah, it could definitely be like, here's the soft launch. But at the same time, I'm like, who else wants that job? You know, like it could be an outside person for sure, like to run Lucasfilm, but is it almost like, I'm not saying, I don't want to use the word force, but like who else would take that job?
Well, the
You
idea
know,
is
like
that he would be like co-president with
yeah,
what's her name again?
Carrie Beck or something, right?
No, it's
Yeah,
I
not
don't
Carrie
remember her
Beck.
name, but the idea is that he's chief creative officer, essentially, and she's doing the traditional CEO president stuff. You know, like giving him like an official
Lin-Manuel Brennan, who's been at Lucasfilm forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It, you know, it's like giving him the Marvel, come on, brain.
Kevin Feige.
Giving him the Kevin Feige kind of role officially.
James Gunn for DC.
Yeah, but doing it in a way where it gives him more power and like final cut on everything, I guess. Which is cool, you know, because
Yeah, totally
like
fine.
the point we've been making forever, like you made earlier, Mike, it's almost like being president of a studio head. It's like being a politician. You know, everyone, myself included, ask questions like, why do we have these career politicians? Why don't we have like engineers and people educated in science and health and all this kind of shit? Actually,
they don't want to.
They don't want. No, who wants that job?
Right,
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I think from a critical perspective of looking at it, it makes sense for Star Wars to, in a combination of, we can't rule out that Bob Iger is supposed to step down, and there's going to be new, there's going to be new presidents on Disney's side of things. So I think the idea of kind of what Warner Brothers did with James Gunn and Peter Safran, where basically DC Studios is going to be, here's the financial side, here's the strategic side, and then you have, here's the creative side. And so I think Gunn and Safran are going to continue to find success. Superman was obviously the big launch for them. Gunn is no stranger to the DC universe, but Superman was the biggest character to get back out there post Zack Snyder. And so I think for Filoni to kind of step out of the shadow of going, we're either going to end the Mando Grogu story, or we're actually going to use this as a way to project ourselves into Starfighter, Rey. What is the world post The Rise of Skywalker? And Filoni's now going to have the opportunity to kind of share George's vision as a new Star Wars with new characters. My assumption is that we will not have Ezra Bridger in everything for the next 20 years, as the internet is suspecting.
We'll see. Iman's a handsome boy.
He is a handsome, and he's
hard to not put him on screen.
That's true.
I mean, it could be just like, hey, if this Ahsoka story kicks ass, he's young enough, because I think he's barely 30, right? Is he late 20s? Like,
I think so.
If the story kicks ass and people like him, then guess what? You got the job, buddy.
Right. And I'm hearing very good things about some of the rumblings of how big the scope was. The scope was definitely increased for season 2 for Ahsoka. So this gives me a lot of I don't know. This gives me hope for going that season 2 is going to be the next big project after Mando and Grogu. And so I think the expectations are high. The directors, Bryce Dallas Howard says that's the most fun I've had directing a Star Wars film or a Star Wars episode, which is great. More Bryce, give her a movie. What are we waiting for?
Come on.
But it's exciting. So let's run through this list.
Yeah. Speaking of big expectations and things, looking back at 2025, it was a really big year. You know, it's easy, especially at our advanced ages. Mike, you know, it was different when I was your age. It's easy to have a year just fly by and forget all the big shit that happened. We started by finishing the 8-episode run of Skeleton Crew mid-January, and we went basically right into celebration mode, preparing for that, especially for us having been given the opportunity to, be there with VIP passes. Thank you again, Ryan Key and the folks at Star Wars and Lucasfilm for hooking it up. Full focus on that. And we got there, had the time of our lives, including getting to see the premiere of Andor. So, like Mike mentioned earlier, all of us, not only being together at Celebration again, but being in Japan, where Nick has never been. A lot of friends have never been. It was an amazing experience. So I guess you two do the majority of the talking because I've been to Japan many, many times, and um, this was a different experience, but not in ways that are worth me flapping my lips too much longer about it. So talk about it. Speak on it.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of hang time in, which was great. It was cool to see like the Star Warsification of any city, really. But a lot of the experience, because I was there for almost 2 weeks. A lot of the experience was not celebration, but it was great. I miss being in a convention hall with the excitement of announcements and cosplay, and we've had 2 international ones in a row, so there's just overall a different scope to them, and it just made me more excited for I guess now we could say next year.
Yeah,
it being in LA, and more releases announced. I'm sure they're not going to hold back. We have the museum opening out here, so I'm sure that'll play into the celebration LA. It was cool. I just liked hanging out with you guys. It was great. We got front row at the Ahsoka panel, right? That was great.
Hi. Cycle de stop.
Arigato gozaimasu. I had an amazing time. To Nick's point, the first night that we were able to, that I landed after, a huge travel day for me, which was basically being up for 24 hours straight. It's raining in Shibuya. We went to Tower Records. Everyone's got, it's misting. It's a warm rain. Everyone's got the umbrellas. It looked like Blade Runner. I was like, this is crazy. This is already crazy. But I think all in all, probably the least memorable part was actually being within the convention hall, because I think in Chiba, that's more of an industrial part of Tokyo. And I think you just had some of those social differences of people wanting, for the States, you have all these different places to go. LA is certainly going to be interesting. Anaheim is kind of one of those things where like the hotels are super big. There's multiple lounges. There's a lot of places for people to go and kind of hang. Plus the outside parts of, especially in Anaheim, between the 3 hotels, there's places for people to go. And Chiba just didn't really have that level of, I would say, like concentrated hangs after. And so that was certainly a more of a cultural difference. I think the Japanese populace, for the most part, is very respectful in terms of going like, hey, celebrate usually in a smaller group. And then you're over here watching this Australian guy drink like 40 beers out.
And create so much trash.
So much.
Like, what do we do with this trash? This is a city's worth of trash you guys made in one night.
This one man has made it. But it was great. And I think for, supporting our friends at Roosevelt's and being able to see they had amazing releases. There were so many really awesome vendors there, amazing costumes, amazing cosplay. And all in all, like it was an incredible experience. I mean, certainly one that I look back and, had amazing food, and it does make me excited for my focus to be strictly on Star Wars for LA.
Yeah.
And I mean that in like a positive way, not saying that like the LA Convention Center isn't boring. It's going to be fine, but I'm actually very excited to just go, LA is whatever, but we're here for Star Wars. And that's,
yeah.
I think this was more about experiencing Japan in a different place, but this is going to be about Star Wars for me personally.
Yeah, it was for me exactly. Not exactly. There was like a tiny part of me that was bummed that I didn't get the same Japan experience that I have forever. And it honestly, it kind of like,
your trip was quick too, right?
It was really quick,
Yeah.
and it messed with my experience because I have this like incredibly privileged, like spoiled ass, bar expectation for what it's like to be in Japan, because when you get brought there by a promoter, they show up, they pick you up at the airport, and they take you out to eat. It's everything, translator, the whole 9 yards. And I instead just came in like, like a commoner by myself, dragging my luggage through Shibuya, going to the shittiest hotel ever because I misbooked. So it was weird. So getting to the convention and just doing Star Wars stuff was so cool for me. but then it had little, you know, the little bits of like feeling like a, you know how it is when you're a little kid and you've done something that like other kids haven't before, and
Yeah,
you feel a little bit cool because you're like, I know how to do this. Let me show you. You're like,
sure.
Just, you know, knowing what to buy in the damn convenience store and how to like take advantage of certain little quirky things that are unexpected if you've never been there was cool. But really, like getting to be in all the panels, great seating, all that kind of shit, and getting to hang with patrons on the listeners on the other side of the world, all of that shit was great. So yeah, despite it being strange and different, and being in a place where, like we talked about right away, it seems like they were not equipped to handle the kind of con that Celebration is.
Right.
It was just a really cool experience, and I'm glad we got to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I think the Golden Guy District in Shibuya, and Deathmatch, and how the Golden Guy District is incredible. I think that when everyone showed up to hang at that, we just kind of stumbled upon this rooftop-ish bar with Ash Crossan shows up, and then you showed up, and all the Roosevelt's crew showed up. That was
and
great.
A friend acquaintance of mine from St. Louis, Missouri,
just happened to be there with us. Like walked in, was like, "Oh, you guys, where are you guys from? St. Louis?" And then all of a sudden, it was like, "Wait a minute, what is happening here?"
That's the beauty of it all, is that like we're all there for Star Wars, but then the after hours, the after con is like, it's stuff we've done for years at this point, is getting to hang, or we did Mosh Isley Rip Chain Reaction, by the way. Chain Reaction closed, and that's where we did the first mosh. But hey, it's not too early to announce that we actually, I think we already have the venue booked for Celebration 2027.
We're doing
that's gonna be
and
fun.
It is pretty close, so to the convention center. So
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. There's a little teaser for you.
It
means wait until we are exactly 1 year out to book the Moxie hotel right across the street, and then make sure you're there for that. So Celebration,
that would not be a bad place to stay. The Moxie.
It's a good
my favorite moment of Celebration, though, I'll say it right now to segue, was watching the Andor premiere together in as close to a theatrical experience as we've had with Star Wars in way too many years.
Pin drop.
It was intense. It was so good.
Especially because the cast is on stage, and you look at your phone and you're like, this panel's going for another hour. Like they're like, all right, well, thank you for coming. And I remember looking over at you and I was like,
it's happening. And then, dude, also last thing, I saw Ryan Gosling 20 feet from me. Ken was right up there in a Star Wars, announcing that he's going to be in a Star Wars.
That was crazy. I had no idea that was happening.
Yeah, that was wild, man. That was great shit. All right, let's talk about Andor real quick. I know during both seasons, we covered this extensively, right? Like we went deep on Andor. We as a fandom really like discovered a whole new level of what Star Wars can be, and we actually debated quite a bit. Mike, you started making points very early about what it means for Star Wars, and Nick, I think you and I also talked a lot about how we miss Star Wars being fun, but I know that we feel like what they did with Andor was so important, and the fact that that a story like that at this time in history, especially American history, gets to be told through Star Wars is so important, and we're all so thankful for it. How do we all feel now, 9 months removed from the end of the series and the statements that were made in this great bit of storytelling?
I stand by it all. It was the greatest, I can't think of anything, an undertaking like that Lucasfilm has ever given us. But like we said over and over again, it wasn't fun. So it made me miss the fun part of Star Wars, but I thought it was awesome. The saying it's not fun isn't like, I'm not like pooping on it, it's definitely like, it was something so different that recontextualized and added heaviness and importance to everything Star Wars, which that's an art in itself, you know. And like the fact that we had Star Wars heads telling their non-Star Wars friends, be like, I know you don't like Star Wars, and I'm not trying to get you to like Star Wars, but you need to watch this because it's great. You know, and like that's a big deal. I mean, to talk about like, you know, a weird modern day parallel, like everybody's loving this heated rivalry show to the point where they're starting to watch hockey, and it's kind of, you know, like you can't really calculate that sort of thing. There's people whose job it is to calculate. Yeah, like it's people's jobs to calculate, like, how do we grow this sport? How do we grow this fandom? Blah blah blah, and then things just happen, you know, and it's kind of a beautiful thing because you had like a low budget ish show like Heated Rivalry blow up to the point where every day, every year, every season, the NHL is like, how do we get new fans? And now a bunch just showed up with something that they had nothing to do with, and that's kind of cool. And I think that Andor hopefully open the door to some non-Star Wars fans to be like, oh yeah, okay. And I think it actually helped a lot too that it led into another entity like Rogue One, which went into the original trilogy.
Right.
So I think that helped.
Directly connected. Yeah, that's amazing. It even if you know, even not focusing on it bringing fans, just Star Wars entering into the social conversation and commentary in such a poignant way is an incredible feat that I know Tony Gilroy feels like will be his legacy. You know, he said it's the most important thing he's ever written. And it's not so different from earlier today, for example. There was a news bit. I don't know if how current it is, but it's a cable news anchor whose name we all know, a famous one, and I'm not remembering off the top of my head, was quoting Carl Sagan from his book, The Demon Haunted World. Talking, you know, and the point of the reel was how relevant it is right now, right? And this is an old book, you know, it's I want to say it was early 90s, 80s. I don't remember exactly that. I feel stupid for that. But you know, a lot of people know Carl Sagan as the old, you know, Cosmos guy, but they don't know much more about it than that. Like a lot of people would know Star Wars, but not realize that the storytelling has these deep roots and social activism and a different worldview than a lot of people seem to take from it, right? Andor did the same thing. Like we were watching Robert Reich watch Andor, watch the Mon Mothma speech real time and react to it because people were telling him, you need to watch this. You, Robert Reich, the, you know, like the, I guess the voice of like the left in terms of economics and social justice on that level, you know? It was wild, you know? Like we're all thinking it while we're watching it, but then to see it go mainstream, it was like just like nothing we've ever had.
And the amount of protests that had references to Andor, you know, like people holding up signs, I have friends everywhere. Like,
yes,
it was breaking into, it became culture, not just counterculture at that point. And I think, you know, I said this to someone the other day. I was looking through Netflix after, of course, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about Stranger Things, and is Stranger Things experiencing the same thing that Star Wars has experienced in regards to expectations and fan theories and fandom. We're going to talk about that in the post show. But there was something about scrolling through Netflix and scrolling through HBO. And the part that I come back to again is going, this is an amazing show. This is some of the best Star Wars, if not the best Star Wars we've gotten since our belief of the original trilogy / Rogue One. I am so at a time where seemingly comedies cannot be made anymore. They're struggling to break out fast enough to a point where like I can balance anything, where I'm looking through my Netflix and going, everything is about a murder. A cop is a conflicted cop. His kid's dead and he sees his ghost and all these. I'm just like, oh my God, like everything is so grim. And Star Wars to that point where we, you know, and please do go back and listen, rewatch it and listen to our episodes on it, because we went pretty hard at it. But that, you know, those are the parts where I look back and go, man, at a time where like you could rewatch it now and go, nothing's changed. It's all still relevant, and that's more of just like my own sense of dread. And so I think in this sense, like I am very much looking forward to Greg's point, Greg, talking about popcorn. You know, you want to be entertained. I cannot wait to see Mando blow up an AT-AT.
Dude, you know what's ironic and cool but sad, but ultimately like just our reality, and it's needed, is that we are in a place that feels not so different from the way people probably felt in the 70s, you know, post Vietnam. A lot of cinema and entertainment is really grim, dark, gritty because it reflects how people feel, you know. And Star Wars came at that time and gave people hope and gave them a popcorn movie that wasn't just
the Deer Hunter.
Right. But it wasn't just escapism either, you know.
Sure.
It gave them hope. So now Star Wars is at a place, and it has been part of the culture for half a century, so it has the opportunity to kind of be both.
I like that. Yeah, and
simultaneously.
Yeah, and I think there was a, you know, if you look at the history of when cinema, when movies come out, it's almost like, you know, at the time where Saving Private Ryan came out, at the time where 1917 came out, there are sometimes these movies that remind you, you know, this is the equivalent of everybody who read All Quiet on the Western Front. You read that, and then 1917 was like one of those versions where you realized how terrible these 19-year-olds' lives were experiencing this incredibly traumatic thing. And then for them to come back from that and then build the country is truly remarkable in that sense of going like, it's good to put, if people are able to consume media that way, by being able to watch something that's designed and shot and they didn't leave details out. It's a very visceral experience for someone that formerly mostly had stories and words written on paper, but you can't really imagine it for some people who don't have that kind of imagination. So I think Star Wars Andor is still one of those things to go, if Andor served as a purpose to make you go, I wonder if it happened, it's happening, it still remains one of the most important pieces of media in Star Wars, and in my opinion, pop culture, if you even call it that, in the last 10 years.
100%.
Yeah, I think the remarkable part of it all to me, I guess 9 months later or whatever it is the themes. Imagine the same exact themes written by J.J. Abrams. Would they have hit as hard? No. You know, like the writing that went into it, and at some points, like Mothma's speech, like heavy-handed what she is saying, but there's artistic, like high-level creativity behind it, makes it palatable. And like that's the ultimate form of art, is to make something that like hits and is impactful, but also not like I don't know, like snobbish or something, you know, like when exactly. You know, so that's the real beauty behind it, is that it came off as like art, but art everyone could understand and rally behind, which that's the most impressive thing to me, because I have not really, I know it's Star Wars, so there's a, you know, deep-seated love in there, but I haven't seen anything else that I love presented in a way that Andor is presented. It's pretty damn impressive.
You know what's interesting is I want to look at some of these numbers that Jason put in the notes. Disclaimer, I don't give a shit about Rotten Tomatoes, right? I think it's borderline useless.
Sure.
Metacritic, a little different, I guess, because that, you know, that's an aggregator of many critics, professional critics, opinions of things. Okay, maybe that's worth something, right? Skeleton Crew had a 92%, or maintains right now a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Andor, a 96. 72 for Skeleton Crew on Metacritic, and 74 for Andor. So as much hate as we heard for Skeleton Crew, it was really well received. Had something like over 6 million viewers in the first month. One of the most popular shows of 2024, 25. Andor's numbers weren't much bigger, but it had a bigger social footprint.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. But I still like, on the Star Wars subreddit and all these other places, like you still get people that occasionally check in that are like, hey, I'm just getting into Star Wars. This Skeleton Crew is something that I need to watch. The comments are overwhelmingly positive.
right.
And of course, there's always a mention of like watch Andor, but like Skeleton Crew is awesome. It did exactly the mission that it set out to do, which was space Goonies, space adventure, kids getting into hijinks, all of that. And if you're asking me today, early January 2026, what I wish the next Star Wars project would be, I would actually prefer to take a Skeleton Crew over Andor season 3. That's my hot take, because that's where I'm at mentally. Is I need joy. I need fun. I need adventure. I do not need another microscope with a Star Wars lens.
Yes.
Because I feel like we are experiencing it, and I'm like, I'm good. I'll take just a little dabble of escapism. So
we're feels like we're seconds away from an actual Gorman massacre here in America. So yeah, give me kids playing in the woods with spaceships.
Find a spaceship. I will start digging. Let's find a spaceship. If you find one, call me. I'll help you dig it out. We also had Star Wars Tales of the Underworld. I think this was an anticipated one to continue the Tales of series. This was a cool one.
It's wild though here? 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and 70 on Metacritic.
Yeah. And that tracks, I think, from my perspective of anything Clone Wars ish. I think you have a very dedicated base of people who love animated Star Wars.
Very specific slice of the pie. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And, very Cad Bane based. You had a lot of really, I think there is that very vocal segment of the fandom that is frustrated over Boba Fett 1313, which was kind of the underworld Grand Theft Auto bounty hunting game that got canceled by Lucasfilm Arts. And so I think a lot of people have definitely, shown interest in going, what are the darker parts of the underworld of Star Wars that we started to get into with Book of Boba Fett. We certainly explored it with the Pikes and the Shadow Collective. And I think that's where Maul Shadow Lord is going to really make these people happy.
Man, I don't want to bury the lead. I don't want to step on the I love you, I know shit later. That's my most anticipated thing of 2026 for sure is Maul.
We don't have a release date yet, so that's even bigger of a teaser.
I mean, actually, being in the theater to watch Star Wars for Mando, that's my most anticipated thing. But the content itself, Maul.
Yeah.
I do hope it's also weekly.
Yes.
Like I want to be able to like sit with each episode and enjoy Star Wars over a course of like 2 months or something like that.
Same.
I would love to know also just like the insider knowledge of what it takes, like all of it, financially, time, all of it, to make 6 episodes of these Tales of series, because in a perfect world we get like 1 a quarter, like to just fill like world build, fill in some like secondary and tertiary stories, things we've been wondering. 1 a year is cool. They've done them for like 3 or 4 years at this point, but like I feel like there's a good enough fan base out there for Clone Wars style animation, and it would be great if we just got more of it.
Somebody posted 3 ideas, they had, whether with AI or with really nice graphic design and Photoshop skills, did 3 hypothetical news series in Clone Wars style. And one was something like the Clone Uprising or something like that. And then there was some animated somewhere between in the Skywalker Saga, something like that. I don't remember what the other 2 were, because that's all I want is a damn Clone Rebellion,
Yeah.
It's weird, man. Like, in some sense, it really has had more content than the Skywalker Saga. I mean, it's part of the Skywalker Saga, but the clones themselves have had more screen time than Luke Skywalker himself and Darth Vader. But I don't think anyone is sick of it. I think we could get another 5 seasons related adjacent. We could revisit Order 66 5 more times, and I don't think anyone's going to complain.
Yeah, I think certainly. I think that era for a lot of people is I think we get those moments where we want to bring a character back, or we want to have a tie into something, because for Tales of the Underworld or Tales of the Jedi or Tales of any of these things, they're all stories that are retrospectives, right? They're all referencing something that already happened. They're just filling in the blanks. And so I think from a lot of interest to go, could they get into the OT? Would this be the first time that we've seen a Clone Wars version of Han Solo? Or Leia was in Rebels, so we've seen that kind of modern version, but we haven't seen Luke really in any of that sense, and there's a lot of curiosity for that. And part of me wonders if that's what they're waiting for 2027 for, is to kind of reintroduce simultaneously the new Jedi Order and also your classic OT characters that we're bringing into animation. Would be interesting, because at this point, Mark Hamill hasn't really done a whole lot of voice acting for Luke in animated projects. It's all, we have younger voice actors now that do all of their, Shelby, and you have Troy Baker and some of these other people who have they've taken over the voice of these characters, especially Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy Pieces of the Past this year. You have people like Bobby Moynihan, and you have a voice cast that's available, and so I think that would be the test of maybe next year for people to go, man, the OT is awesome. Well, guess what? We're going to do Tales of the Original Trilogy or whatever, and we're going to figure out where Luke was before he got to Echo Base. What was Han up to?
So much.
There's so much. There's so much. Even animated retellings of some of the books would be amazing. Between Brotherhood.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it has to be worth it for them. Time versus what are they getting out of it just throwing it on streaming, if there's merchandise. But man, it's hard pressed to think of a cheaper way to make Star Wars besides publishing,
right.
Especially the pipeline and workflow they have this far in, they have to be very efficient.
Yeah, I agree.
And also just real quick, going back to Luke,
sure.
Mark Hamill mentioned really recently that he's definitely open to his likeness living on after he's gone. Whether that's the way that Vader's voice has been done since James Earl Jones was gone, or whatever. It's going to be something like that, some kind of deep fake adjacent technology, and he seems open.
Yeah, which would be pretty amazing. So in addition to Rollout 2025, we had Lego Rebuild the Galaxy, which is really fun. They're
another 100%.
They're very entertaining. I think all the Lego ones, as goofy as they are, have always provided very high entertainment value. The meta jokes are funny. The storylines are goofy. They have great, they're animations for fans of Star Wars that don't take themselves too seriously. But if you understand all of the jokes, they are clearly written by super fans. It's fun even just finding the Easter eggs and the jokes, from my opinion.
And we get a what if type of thing.
Right.
Like we've been talking about for years.
Right. And then we did pretty extensive coverage of Star Wars Visions Volume 3. We had some, a lot of I think we all had different opinions of what our favorite episodes were, which really goes to show you the power of animation. But I think I wouldn't be shocked if that continues to be for Volume 4, if that's something that's going to happen. Maybe not 2027, maybe 2028.
Well, we're getting the Star Wars Visions Presents stuff.
Right.
You're right.
Right. We're getting the Ronin. I think it's the Ronin, right? Or the Ninth Jedi.
No,
Ninth Jedi is first.
Yeah.
Ninth Jedi, yeah. So that's going to be pretty amazing. And then on the video game side, which was a little shy this year, we got Hondo's downloadable content story for Star Wars Outlaws, which I've started playing again. And I got to say, it's a pretty sweet game.
I need to start playing too.
You
I need to
really
start
do.
playing Star Wars.
I only heard good things about Outlaws. People really enjoyed that.
It's awesome. And the Art of book, which I purchased, shout out to Matt Martin, is amazing. In terms of like a treasure trove of Star Wars stuff that's new, unbelievable. So the Art of book, definitely pick that up. And if you have a chance to now buy the, super version, I saw it at Target the other day for $20. All the DLC, which was, at the time, if you would have purchased it, it would have been, I don't know, 120, 140 bucks. I saw it at 20 bucks. I was like, I should just buy this again. Publishing, we had some really great highlights. Saw the end of phase 3 of Star Wars: The High Republic. A lot of architects in the Endeavor. You had Claudia Gray, Justine Ireland, Daniel Older, Kevin Scott, Charles Soule. We also had some anniversaries. We had Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which came back out in the theaters, which was amazing. And we also had The Force Awakens 2, which goes to show you I'm celebrating anniversaries just as hard at this point.
Yeah, I'm so bummed I didn't see Revenge of the Sith. Schedule-wise, it didn't work out.
Yeah, it was great. I did get to that one, which was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, like, because of I want to say almost like the memification of some things, you know, like I have the high ground, you know, like being in a theater expecting people to like cheer or whatever for the asinine things that we cheer for is pretty fun.
Like when Obi-Wan jumps down and I'm like, here it comes, here it comes. Say the thing. Yeah, say the thing. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chicken jockey. So I think it was a pretty amazing year that went by very quickly and was super packed with great Star Wars content. And it's hard to imagine that we're going to top it for this year, but we are straight up getting a movie with a tie-in in the park. The parks are getting updated too. I'm going to Galaxy's Edge in 2 weeks. I'm excited for that. Nick, you're going to Galaxy's Edge next week.
I will be there. I believe we're doing Hollywood Studios Wednesday. I'm going to my family's flying down from New York. Me and Desi are flying from California to Walt Disney World for my nephew's 2nd birthday.
Amazing.
So I think my sister's the ultimate planner, and I think we're going on Wednesday to Hollywood Studios. So.
And how long has it been? Because I know that you're not a Disneyland park or a pass holder anymore, right? And what when you go back into the park after an extended period of time, what is your park experience like?
I just missed the Millennium Falcon, honestly. There was a real extended period of my time from when Galaxy's Edge opened to me not having a pass anymore, where I would spend, I also live 2 miles away, so I would spend 2 or 3 hours there if I had to, and just pop in my car and go home, and just chill and watch people enjoy Star Wars and look at the Millennium Falcon. It never got old. It hasn't gotten old. I don't think it will get old. I just miss it. But I'm excited for some new stuff. I think it's definitely time. They've blurred the lines of, First Order, Resistance, because so much of the current Star Wars stuff was Mando and Boba and Ahsoka. Right. They've kind of blurred the lines of having those characters in the park too. I think it's just time to, I don't know, I don't want to say like decanonize it all, but it's almost to a detriment at this point that they have those things. They're keeping those like separate things. Like, I don't think you should walk up to, like, I don't know what would be a bad example of like Rey walking up to
Darth Vader.
Yeah, something like that. I don't necessarily think that should happen, but I think they could blur the lines even more just to elevate the experience, not out of laziness, but to just have a better experience. So
that was kind of one of the perks of like Star Wars Night, because I know that they had announced those, but like, they have all these different Star Wars essentially
dance numbers. We need more dance numbers.
There you go. Right. But they had like, you'd walk around the park and at Tomorrowland and all these other spots would have different characters. And it didn't matter that like, oh, we just went and saw Captain Rex and now we're going to see Maul come out. And, like that doesn't feel that corny to me if the land focuses less on the story and more on the celebration of Star Wars, I think would be really cool, even if they were to partition it out. So.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Perfect world, COVID doesn't screw a lot of things up, but like people were really into the canon part of it, and it being like it's such a huge creative. We've talked about this so much on the pod, but like the creative story and interactiveness of a part of the park in Disneyland being a movie set, basically, it was great. And I think that they just probably some combination of COVID ruining a lot of it, but then also just the normal, not hardcore Star Wars fans not caring to be involved in missions and a story and Vimerati and stuff like that. Like I think that stuff, as cool as it is, got overwhelmed by people not caring, probably like normal people not caring.
Yeah, it's different from something like Harry Potter. I don't know, maybe I think the size of the galaxy is both a feature and a bug of the storytelling opportunities in a park setting,
Yeah. I just had this good idea. They should put Batu in something.
Oh,
have we ever talked about that?
I don't think we've ever talked about that.
What?
Should. Yeah. Wow. I think that would really make people more interested in it.
That is crazy.
Yeah, we've definitely never brought that up.
We have never thought of that. That's amazing. Okay. Well, we're getting to enough time here where the people are fondly remembering what a year it was last year for Star Wars. So we're going to rip through some of these real quick, but we are going to talk about them more intensively with some friends of ours on an upcoming episode. But let's get through these real quick, because in 2026, rapid fire, we've got The Mandalorian and Grogu coming back to theater for the first time, a Star Wars experience in the theater since 2019, The Rise of Skywalker. It is in theaters May 22nd, which is also coinciding with a new experience of Smuggler's Run at both Batu East and West. Did you hear it here first? Are we all on board that we think the Millennium Falcon is going to be in
100%? It's got to be. Got to be.
Adam, you're being very quiet.
I mean, it would be sick.
We'll take it. Let's go on. Ahsoka season 2. We don't have a release date yet, but that is rumored to be coming out next year. We're not totally sure if we got.
Are they wrapped on that?
They are wrapped.
Okay. Good.
I'm not sure if there's reshoots or anything else scheduled, but production seemed to have gone very well. But according to the actors, their parts had been filmed, and that wrapped at about November of last year. And then we also have for animated, we don't have a release date yet, but Sam Witwer returns as Darth Maul. Created by Dave Filoni, Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. Realistically, the uprising of Crimson Dawn, the Shadow Collective, going to be very exciting in that regard. Then we also have Star Wars.
Get this early? You think we get this before May?
I don't know. What do you guys? For me, it goes Maul Shadow Lord, Mando Grogu, Ahsoka season.
Yeah, because Ahsoka, I want to say, came out late summer when it debuted, right?
Yes, it did. But right. I just think like they're going to take as much time as, the difference of going, we've been cooking on an animated series that comes out weekly, and Ahsoka, I think they're going to be like, we'll take as much time as we can.
Yeah. Well, Ahsoka, also Maul, I hope, is like Bad Batch length, because we were getting like 12 to 15 episodes, right? Like, I would love that.
Ahsoka wrapped a couple months ago. That's at least 6 months of post.
At least. So that tells me.
Yeah, summer.
Fall. I gotta say
summer at the earliest is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But again, too, like, you're talking like, Mando Grogu comes out in May 22nd. That's basically the summer movie. Is Disney going to do this thing where it's like, oh, we have Doomsday, now we're Marvel again, where they were doing that swapping back and forth, where it was like when Star Wars goes down, then Marvel comes back. So it makes me think that like season 2 is going to be a fall thing, because they want people to go to the theater as much as they can. Then Mando Grogu comes out in Disney Plus. Like, what it's the rollout for this.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We also have Star Wars Visions presents The Ninth Jedi.
Yep.
which
I can see
is
that being a May the 4th drop or something like that.
I'm with you on that for sure.
Hey, real quick, what if we get a trailer for Ahsoka season 2 in the theater for Mando?
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That would be smart.
I mean, we're still assuming. I mean, the Super Bowl is now a month away. Are we thinking we're going to get the final trailer for Mando Grogu, or is it going to be a Disney Plus ish one?
Who knows?
No, you won't. For video games, Star Wars Zero Company, which is a AAA video game by new developer Bit Reactor. It's similar to Gears of War, XCOM. It's more of like a turn-based game. Probably won't be for me, but this next one, Star Wars Galactic Racer, a racing game made in part with Lucasfilm Games. New studio Fuse. We talked about this pretty extensively on one of the last when they announced it. And it features the return of Saburba, which is great. But it's not going to be a specific pod racing game. It's going to have all different kinds of racing vehicles in Star Wars, which I think will be really cool. It'll probably be something along the lines of like different classes. Bigger ships are heavier. They're a little bit slower, but they're not as, whatever they're going to do, which is cool. So we have a couple books publishing wise. We have Star Wars Eyes Like Stars, which is a young adult romance novel, Star Wars Legacy, which is she's done. This is by Maddie Rue, who has done major franchises like Dungeons and Dragons and World of Warcraft. It's set right before the rise of Skywalker and will give a glimpse into Rey's training with Leia, which sounds pretty awesome. And then, of course, we have Reign of the Empire, Edge of Abyss, which is part 2 of the Reign of the Empire trilogy following last year's The Mask of Fear, set in 6 BBY, a few years after the first novel and right before the start of essentially Andor era. And we asked the patrons, of course, what were their favorite moments in 2025? And we got some good ones. Nick, do you want to read a couple of these? Because I feel like
let's go.
I feel like the patrons showed up for this.
All right, we got NATO Potato leading off saying, getting to meet Doug Chang in the wild at San Diego Comic-Con and being able to talk to him for a bit, a one-on-one. Pretty great.
He also had his legacy book, the 2-part book came out. I still haven't done a review on it, but I need to. Could be a cool little patron piece, but it's incredible. It's expensive. It's heavy. It's just like the Star Wars archives. But Doug, I got to meet him as well at San Diego Comic-Con, and what a guy! What an artist! What an artist! Like, that's the thing I come back to for a guy who, in my opinion, is celebrity within Star Wars, importance-wise. He's unbelievable. So Nate, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine there was social media and the internet in the days of old ILM, like how much we would revere those people if they're more like accessible, Doug Chang's one of those people.
Right. I would tweet at John Knoll and I'd be like, dude, we're the Bonthans. Come on, dude. Do you even like Star Wars?
Coming up next, we got Julia says Celebration in Andor, which we definitely agree with that. Krista says, aw, check this out, guys. This Discord group getting involved with some art projects also. That's great. We got Sky's the Limit. If we're talking Star Wars media moments, Mon Mothma's speech, hands down.
We're
on board with that. And then another thing that we could all kind of commiserate with. Kyle says, staying up late to watch a movie of Andor every week with my mom. That's great having family involved. Nice. And then following up the last arc with Rogue One. What a beautiful show and a unique way to watch it.
What a time to be alive.
Hear, hear.
Hey, patrons, aside from hanging in Japan with you guys, I think the most fun I've had was the watch party. I know we didn't interact as much with the patron chat, as we maybe would like to, and Nick got host because of technology, but I really, really, really enjoyed that watch party. I don't think we've watched a Star Wars film front to back together as a group. I know Ryan and I have watched,
sure,
but yeah, man, it's fun. It's good stuff. Turns out hanging out with other humans that share the same interests is pretty cool when you're a human.
We only have 10 more to watch together, so let's get to it.
Let's do it. Let's hurry up. All right. Everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for a great 2025. We're going to talk, like Mike said, about Stranger Things relative to Star Wars. I would love to keep having conversations like this because I've had some experiences watching movies and shows recently where I see it through the lens of Star Wars style storytelling, addressing some of the same things to wrap up stories and things. Like Wicked was like that for me. So I'd love to talk about this stuff. It's good bonus content. And you can find all of that at patreon.com/thankthemakerpod, starting with this next little Stranger Things bit. So everyone, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time, may the Force be with you. Thank the Maker is produced by Adam Russell and Jason Chiodo and edited by Jason Chiodo. If you enjoy the podcast, you can support us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Or you can support us directly at patreon.com/thankthemakerpod, where you can get access to our Discord server, exclusive content, exclusive merch, and more. Our patrons literally make Thank the Maker possible.